interact with each other, which is cool. So if you're here, you survived 25 minutes of chaos. So Yahoo, you get a bonus like star and applause. All right. So we got Jeff on the call. Awesome. I know Jeff is from Florida, so that's pretty easy. We got Sean on the call. So Sean, where are you from?
Phoenix, Arizona.
Ah, Phoenix, Arizona. Nice. Awesome. I'm glad you're here, Sean. And your face looks really familiar. I think you've probably been on a couple of these before, so that's awesome. Good to have you back. We got Debbie. Where's Debbie from?
Canyon Lake, Texas.
Wow, Texas. Very nice. And kudos to you, Debbie, for being here. For anybody who's here, you survived 26 minutes of tech chaos. So Yahoo. And we got gas bars, Jonathan and Anna. Awesome. Good to see you guys. They're from Texas as well. Now from the Austin area. So that's cool. We'll maybe wait till like 5:30, so another 3 minutes, just to give some people some time to hop in and whatnot. And Jeff and Jonathan, I know them well, but Debbie, I don't know you so well. So tell me a little bit about you and what's cooking in your world.
Well, I've been in Texas for about 2.5 years, and I'm a broker in California, but I'm just an agent here, and sort of had to start over. Things are very different in Texas than California.
Nice. How so?
Just rules and the way they do things, and just in general. I mean, real estate's real estate, but yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, I'm from Minnesota, so I went from Minnesota to California, and I was like, holy cow, they do things differently here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that took me about a year to 2 years to figure out that like a closing, you didn't show up anywhere. It just like all of a sudden closes, and then the escrow company calls you up and says, "Hey, we're closed," and that means it's done. So yeah, in Texas, is it more of a state where you sit down at a table?
They do. They fund in the same day. They fund and close the same day. It's weird. But with the TRID now, I mean, everything has to be done ahead of time anyway, so it's not as weird. But in California, we used to close, and then 3 days later, they'd fund, and you get your check, and so that's different.
Yeah, exactly. Well, cool. I'm glad you're here. We'll give it like 2 more minutes, and then I'll jump in. How about you, Sean? You say you're out of Arizona. Tell me about your world and kind of where are you at real estate wise?
Yeah, so I'm born and raised in Chandler, Arizona, which is about 30 minutes if you've ever outside of Phoenix.
Yeah.
I'm actually doing an open house right now. You'd be proud of me. I'm trying to multitask and maximize my time.
Awesome. Good for you. Open house in Chandler?
Actually in Gilbert, which Gilbert and Chandler are one of the two fastest growing towns or cities in Arizona right now. This year's been great so far, and got my eye on the prize and just having fun and living the dream.
Nice. Good for you. That's awesome. Kudos. So what kind of price is the open house?
It's a 4,100 square foot remodel basement. It's in a lakefront subdivision. We were priced at $619. I have it down to about $589 right now. I don't know if everybody else is running into this, but I've gotten a lot of traffic, and we've had a couple bites, but everybody's got to sell their house to buy a house.
Gotcha.
So running into a lot of contingencies.
Gotcha. Yeah, that can be icky. Awesome. Well, hey, I'm glad you're here. And if you mute us, I understand. So awesome. And then we have boy, I'm not going to say your name that great. Ilya? Is that right? Well, we have Ilya on and it's muted, but if you get a chance, Ilya, unmute it. And the way I do stuff, this is about as formal as I get. Uh, I love helping people out, and I love having simple stuff. And I'm a realtor just like you guys. I've been a realtor for 14 years now. I started in Minnesota. Some of you guys know that. My first year I did like 10 million in sales. My second year 14 million. My third year, gosh, a little over 27 million. And people started coming to me asking me, what do I do and how do I do it? And so I created this thing called Guide to Your Success. This is one of my first copies from like 12 years ago, and my copy's got all kinds of notes, and it's all falling apart. But it's great, and it really is just a manual that I started giving out to realtors who joined my group, and it went over the 12 different ways of how I go about getting leads, exactly how I connect with people, you know, my listing presentation, my buyer presentation. And the first realtor that worked with me, his name was Greg Weinberger, and he made a little over $260,000 gross commission income in his first year, and he was just like me. He'd never been a realtor before, and yeah, and away we went. So now, like I say, I've sold a little over $371 million of real estate, and if you have a pen handy, I would get it out and jot this down. And I try and keep things really simple. And in my world, it's I would draw a triangle. There's my triangle for you guys, high tech. And on one side of the triangle, I would write attract, A-T-T-R-A-C-T. On the other side, convert. And on the bottom, deliver. And so it looks like that. Attract, convert, deliver. And for me, it's all about attracting really great leads, or I would call them a premium client, right? And a premium client can be two things. One, it can be someone who's a little higher price point, but also somebody that's just really easy to work with. Does that make sense? And because I am a really simple person, and I like dealing with people that are simple. And so that to me is attract a really cool premium client. And that's like, I guess in real estate speak, that would be a lead. And then convert is convert that lead into an appointment. But I don't really call it appointments. I call it an initial consultation. And for Jonathan and Jeff, you probably heard this a gazillion times. And initial consultation is an IC. And my definition of an initial consultation is that's when I meet somebody face-to-face for the first time. And I would say that is where I do really well in real estate, is that I'm very good with people in person. And boy, there's a process that I follow really religiously in the book here about what I do, what I say, what I don't say when I meet with someone in person. But I would say the overall arching theme of it is when I meet someone in person, I treat them like they are the most important person on global Earth, right? So when I'm doing this hangout, even with you guys, like there's other fires burning in my life, right? And you know, I got a cell phone just like you guys. It could be ringing and texting and all that type of thing, but I'm like 100% focused on you guys because that's what's in front of me right now. And so I think that's really important for us to realize that as realtors as well. Like, oh my gosh, when we're with a potential buyer or seller, to give them 100% of our attention is really important. So that's attract, convert, and then deliver. So then once somebody decides to work with me and I decide to work with them, it's all about delivering a VIP experience. And I would jot that down on that piece of paper under deliver, because most times realtors think, oh, we did our job, we helped them buy a home or we helped them sell a home, and now they're just going to refer business to me. Well, in my experience, that hasn't been true. Like in my close to 1,400 families that I've helped out, when I do get referrals, it's because I do this, which is thank you, offer, and ask. And the big one on here is the asking part. And so, for instance, I can guarantee you this. You know, last year I did just over 29 million in sales, but the day that I stopped calling people and asking them for business, my sales would go down to probably 2 to 3 million, right? And so that's a bummer as far as, like, you know, reoccurring revenue, right? But it's also a great thing because each of us could be at 0 in sales right now, and in 12 months we could be at 30 million in sales. And it's not based on the company we're with. It's not based on the longevity we've been in the real estate business. It's based on these 3 items: thank you, offer, and ask. So, oh my gosh, I could talk for hours about stuff, but I want to open it up to you guys. I mean, what could I be doing for you in this next, you know, half hour to 45 minutes that would really be a big benefit to you? What questions can I answer that you guys have?
Jonathan, can you tell us a little bit about the event in September?
Oh, yeah, okay, perfect. Okay, so, oh my gosh, so I could probably tell you all about it, but since we got Jeff on the line, or Jonathan and Anna, I guess before I tell you guys about it, Jeff and Anna and Jonathan were just there. Do you guys mind saying 2 minutes about it? If somebody's on this call and going like, gosh, should I come to this thing? What would you tell them?
I guess I'll jump in. I would have to say, gosh, I mean, if you're looking for an easy way to make a good living, it's the way to go. I mean, you know, you get some, you don't get clever ninja tricks, dialogues, or whatnot, but you get some easy stuff that people can relate to, all right, understand. You get some deep aha moments while you're there, right? And then, you know, you get confidence, you get clarity, you get really focused on, oh my gosh, I can do this. And what I mean by this is, Jonathan, I missed a part. Did you tell them how much, you know, you're making?
No.
Like GCI?
Yeah, no.
You want to share that real quick?
Oh, well, yeah, I make a lot of money.
Well, he shows you how to make a lot of money. And, you know, if anyone here thinks, you know, 500,000 or more is a lot of money, then you're at the right place. You know, I'm moving forward, and I just can't believe how quickly it does happen. I mean, it's not a get rich quick scheme, but it definitely gives you the steps that you can follow. You know, it takes a little effort, but gosh, not much more effort than if you're hustling now.
Yeah, it's not expired. It's not FSBOs. I don't want to say I've never done those, but I've never done those longer than 8 hours because I was just like, wow, that's brutal. It's about old-fashioned connecting with people. And at the event, it's a 3-day event, and there's 2 guarantees. One is I guarantee it'll be the best event and the last real estate event you'll ever need to attend. And if that isn't the case, you just let me know anytime during the event, and I refund you back 100% of what you paid. And the next guarantee is that you'll walk away by probably the end of the second day with a clear picture of how you can make 300,000 of additional income within 12 months. And if by the end of the third day you can't see yourself making that, then just let me know, and I refund you back 100% of what you paid. And the cost to attend the event, it's $998. It's limited to 30 realtors. 30 realtors, plus there'll be probably some of my monthly coaching students. So I have a program where if someone wants to, for instance, like Jonathan and Anna are in it, we hang out 104 times in a 12-month period, and it is it's life-changing. I mean, I have people that have gone from, today I was talking with someone, last year her income was $3,000 all last year. This year she'll do somewhere between 180 to 210,000. And that stuff is pretty common. Does that make sense? It's, Jeff in Florida, oh my gosh, went from being focused on like $100,000 to $200,000 properties. Today you got a great, this week you got a great call, and that's about a $16,000 commission. But really, that'll probably turn into maybe $48,000. And better than that is you did an open house last weekend for a $2.3 million property, and it's not your listing. And from that, you got maybe about $70,000 to $74,000 in the hopper, of things that could come into fruition. So, I mean, just those two things alone are like $125,000 of gross commission income on the books. When I mean on the books, a potential buyer, a potential seller, potential listing. But I mean, these are people that like you've spoken to, and you're either in process of helping them buy or sell a home, or it is like it's happening. Does that make sense? So it's all real estate's going to take some time, right? It's like even if I had the best, if my brother called me up and said I want to buy a house, it's still going to take 30 to 60 to 90 days for it to actually be a closing. And I'd say that's where Jeff is with those, close to 140,000 of income. So.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just like I was telling you a little while back, $100,000, $150,000 house, very, very super common. A $200,000 listing starts to get a little scary. A $300,000 listing really makes my knees, just knock. So, here I am doing a $2.2 million home. And I wouldn't have done that if it wasn't what you went through while we were at the seminar, because it's just like you give us the tools to be able to be confident in handling that.
Yeah, it's well, yeah, thanks for that. I mean, I between my second and third year, I probably spent $90,000 investing in myself. And I did your traditional real estate coaches type of stuff, but I was really looking outside the box, and I hired a bunch of people who were more just entrepreneurs, right? And so I would say there's nothing new that you're going to learn at the 3-day event, but everything is going to be new. Does that make sense? So it's going to be like, yeah, you do an open house, but the way you've been doing it, burn it and never go back to it again, and do it this way instead. And yep, you're going to go on a buyer appointment, but however you've been doing it in the past, burn it and do this instead. And yep, you're going to go on a seller appointment, but do this instead. And I'm looking at my wall, of things that I do and that I coach and I help realtors do, which is make phone calls to people that already know you, like you, trust you, but do it in a different way, right? I was just talking to this one gentleman today and he's like, oh my gosh, I made 7 calls today, and I got about $32,000 in new, potential commissions. And that's like great, and it's just a simple phone call, but it's doing it in a proven way. And I guess that's the whole point of this, is it's a proven systematic system that works, and you don't even need to apply all of it to have success. If you apply 10% or even 15% of it, you'll be making $300,000 of income a year, and you won't have to work a lot. Like, yeah, you just won't have to work a lot. I mean, you can, but you won't have to. Last year, I tell people I worked probably 18 to 25 hours a week and did my 29 million in sales, but I probably worked less than that. But I don't even want to say that, because even telling people I work 25 hours a week sometimes freaks them out. And I'm not from San Diego, so like when I moved here 7 years ago, I didn't know anybody. And that's what we go over in the 3-day event. We go over basically like, hey, if I was dropped into Juneau, Alaska, or if I was dropped into, I think the last event was Kona, Hawaii, or Hilo, Hawaii, on the Big Island, what would I do day 1? What would I do day 2? What would I do day 3? Who would I contact? What would I say? How would I say it? And yeah, I try and make it as simple as possible, because it truly is as simple as possible. And I try and make it as easy as possible for realtors to come to the 3-day event. One, I limit it to 30 people, plus some of my current coaching students, because I'm kind of an introvert by heart. And 2 is I limit it because I want people to ask me any question. And I guess Jonathan, Anna, and Jeff would be better at saying, yeah, Jonathan allows any question to be asked, or do I follow a proven, like, this is my outline of today and we're not deviating 1 iota from it? If you guys want to chime in. Oh, I can't hear you, which is weird, because it's you're not muted, but maybe it's somehow on a Google setting or a
Try now. Wow, yeah.
oh, bummer. Well, I'm not sure what to say. I can tell you this much: I am not a techie guy. So for those of you who have hung out with me for a day or longer, I shrivel when it comes to technology. But Jeff, maybe you can answer that. Am I open to answering anybody's question anytime?
Oh gosh, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm on my phone here, so I'm trying to figure out which screen it is. Oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I truly want people to get this, and that's why I offer the guarantees. I tell people a few times, like, hey, you can take all those real estate books or seminars you've been to, and you can pretty much burn them, because it's just not going to help you out. It's going to confuse you, and it'll be the best event you've ever attended. And if not, you just let me know. And even at the last event, there were 2 people, right, out of the 30, who said, hey, we'd like our money back, and gave it back to them. Does that make sense? And then, yeah, the second guarantee is that you're going to walk away with knowing exactly what to do to make $300,000 of additional income within a 12-month period. And if you don't see that, no problem. You just let me know, and I refund you back 100% of what you paid. So that's, I don't know how much clearer or easier I can make it for people to come. I do it in San Diego. I've never done one outside of San Diego. I like to make it a little inconvenient for people, because the stuff that I'm going to tell you to do isn't the easiest. It's very simple, but it's not easy to call 7 friends a day and follow this formula. Does that make sense? It's not easy to eat an apple a day. It's not easy, right? It's not easy to lose 10 pounds, but it's really simple. And yeah, if you're looking for a really simple way, awesome. Are you going to have to probably change 70% of what you're currently doing? Probably, right? And a lot of it is just the mindset of like, yeah, I can do it. And I think, Anna, I might have been able to hear you there for a second.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I don't know what I did.
So I got to tell you guys about Jonathan and Anna for a second. So Jonathan and Anna really, really impressed me. When I first met them, I don't know, a month and a half ago, I think it was.
Yeah.
Jonathan reached out to me, and he was like, hey, we want to work privately with you. And I said, okay, that's cool. You know, fill out this application. It's like a 4 or 5 page application, and then we'll talk about it. And oh my gosh, I got that application back within like a half hour, which I've never had that before, right? Usually people think about it and they ponder it and all this kind of stuff, and got it back in a half hour, and I was like, wow, okay. I'm like, are you really ready to do this, right? Because the cost to like have me help people on a 104 times a year process, which is like twice a week we're hanging out, it's $1,800 a month, right? And I tell people, hey, it's an 18-month commitment, so you got to be really ready for this. And Jonathan was like, well, yeah, why would I wait? Like, if you've done this well in 14 years, why would I not want to copy like exactly what you're doing? And so I was like, wow, okay, this guy gets it, And so anyway, so then you guys signed up, and then I was like, you guys got to come to the 3-day event. Was it helpful to come to that 3-day event?
It absolutely was. I love the simplicity of it all. There's certain steps to follow. Just go ahead and follow them. As a new agent, I was trying just everything out there, and nothing was really working, giving it all 1%. And I love that I can now just really focus on relationships and, only work 15 hours a week if I want to. And I know I'm going to get results from it. Mm-hmm. So, it was nice having 3 days of really getting to focus down and, figure out a plan of what I'm going to do as a new agent.
Yeah. So there's 12 things I go over. One of them is open houses. One of them is calling your top 150. And one of them is, hey, I don't know anybody in my town. Well, cool. This is how you get to know 150 cool people within about 10 to 14 days. So we take that objection, and that's gone. And then, maybe it's getting some leads from Realtor.com or Truly or Zillow, but how do you interact with them that causes them to want to buy a house with you? Like buyers that I work with, I generally work with 3 to 10 days, and then they purchase a property. And then maybe another item is really crushing it on listings. And so for me, it's creating a 12-page brochure and really having better quality photos and that type of stuff. And then it's interacting with your clients in such a way that you just multiply them, and they're just happy to work with you as their realtor. And then it's postcards, and oh my gosh, Jeff just sent out his first postcard, and he got a $16,000 transaction from it, and it cost Jeff, I got it written down somewhere, I think he said $416, you know, and yeah, that stuff happens. And the reason I know it happens is because I'm doing it, right? I'm not just some real estate coach or mentor who did this 20 years ago or has never done it but just tells people how to do it. It's like I'm doing the things that I'm telling you guys to do. And then find a lender that's going to refer you $500,000 a month. That's like life-changing. And work with a builder that's of high quality, and do a housewarming party for a buyer that's going to make you really stand out. So yeah, oh my gosh, you know, Sean, if you have not signed up for the 3-day event, I would suggest signing up. But you're only going to want to sign up if you want to have a more easy, lucrative, and fun real estate business, and if you really want to just be more focused on what you want. And so you go to profitsandpassions.com. That's my website, and I call it Profits and Passions because I believe every realtor in America, if they want to, should be making $300,000 of income a year. And it doesn't take 3 years to do it. If you want to make $300,000 of income in a year, you can do it within 12 months, following my signature system. And so profits is one item, and then passions, and it's called Profits and Passions, because I believe every realtor should be having the time of their life doing real estate. If you're finding real estate is just bogging you down, you're probably doing it a wrong way. And yeah, that's why it's Profits and Passions, and really also for passions, because like your profit should fuel your passion to do whatever it is you like to do. Like,
can I add something to that, Jonathan?
Yeah.
You know, it's, oh gosh, I just lost my train of thought.
You've been hanging out with me too long.
Yeah, if it comes up, I'll let you know. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. You know, passions is too like about like for me, passions is spending time with my family, right? And it's not just spending time like in a little bit. It's like quality time. It's like we're going to Hawaii for, I forget how long now. It might be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, in like end of July, early August. There's not too many residential realtors that I'm aware of that take like a 3-week vacation, right? And I try and do that 2 to 3 to 4 times a year. The longest I've ever done is about 5 weeks. That was maybe like 9 years ago, give or take. But it was awesome. I mean, I'm just gone for 5 weeks, and at that time, I don't even know if I took my cell phone with me. I might have just left it at the office. So, yeah, to me, that's like, okay, cool. I now have a real estate business. I don't have a job, right? I'm not addicted to my cell phone 24 hours a day. I'm not stressed. And at least for me, when I have enough income or enough profit, I don't life is, I'm not addicted to money, but it just is easier. Does that make sense? It's like if you have the ability to earn $300,000 or more in a year, and you don't have to work hard to do it, why wouldn't you do it? And it's all about building great relationships with people. So, does that help jog your memory, Jeff, or not?
Yeah, it does actually. I remembered, but I didn't want to interrupt your flow right there. And it's this. When you're, because I've gotten coaching from a few coaches before, and they push expireds and FSBOs, and it's okay. I've gotten lots of business from that. I've used all sorts of dialers and Redx and Vulcan and whatever to get you the leads. That way you're ready to go and start dialing inside sales associates so you can just do more volume. And then, with that, you get to be busier and you get to build a team. They show you how to do that. And you're starting to go through the trials of building a team and dealing with different personalities, a hiring process. But you're being successful. You're getting busier. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how much busier can you get? And don't get me wrong, it's one business, I guess, method that you can use and do, and you'll make some money off of it for sure. But you've been there, Jonathan. You know that just it kills you because you're wrestling with expireds that are upset because their home didn't sell the first or second or even third time around. Realtors are no good, they're liars, or they never communicate, or what have you. For sale by owners may have been past expireds, and or I can just do this myself. So now you have to wrestle and manipulate and use some neurolinguistic words to kind of hypnotize them to make them think that, oh yeah, I do need a realtor. Just crazy stuff like that, and then. They're promoting it left and right, and they all have supposedly, quote, better methods at doing it, and that's, I don't know why they only promote that. Thank God that, a few people are promoting what you're doing, which is awesome, because, as I'm transitioning from my old method, just to make sure I close those transactions up into your signature system, it's I could just see that that beautiful light at the end of the tunnel where I'm saying, oh man, I'm taking these steps and I'm making my way towards that way.
Yes, yes. And Zabraki, and I'm showing you where we're going to be hanging out here. Oh, that's kind of somebody. Somebody's watching my video online. Yay!
Not me.
that might be Debbie. So that's awesome. I was like, gosh.
I was looking for, what's the hotel in San Diego?
Oh, okay, so Rancho Bernardo Inn is where the resort is. It's if someone's looking to save money, that's probably not the place to stay. It's probably like $300 a night, but there's all kinds of hotels nearby. I think like Hilton Garden is like within a half a mile. And that's maybe more in the $100 to $150 price point. Where'd you stay, Jeff and Anna?
I don't know the hotel name. We stayed maybe 20 minutes away, and it wasn't bad, and it was a nice drive. Kind of saw the area, so we didn't spend much on the hotel.
Awesome. How about you, Jeff?
I think it was the Quality Inn. It was about 20 minutes away. Escondido or something like that.
Oh yeah, Escondido. Yep. Yeah.
So that was really affordable relative to the area. I mean, if you can swing, that Rancho Bernardo Inn, it's beautiful. Just do it. But if not, and you want to save a few bucks, anywhere from 5 minutes to almost 15 minutes away, you'll find yourself at a fraction of the cost.
Yeah, probably more in that $100, $125 range. Rancho Bernardo Inn, and we start. I should change the start times, but I never have yet. We start at basically 8 in the morning, and we go till 5 in the afternoon. Some days longer than that. I just don't. I feel I have a moral obligation to help other realtors out, right? And I've just seen so many realtors struggle, and I'm just like, it doesn't need to be that hard, right? And so it's like, since I've figured this out of how to really have an easy, lucrative, and fun business, it would be not kind of me if I didn't help other realtors out and share with them what I know, So that's really what drives me. And I'd say the second thing that drives me is that there is a lot of bad real estate advice out there for realtors, right? And there's um, I don't know. Unfortunately, as realtors, we get sold a lot of stuff that isn't that impactful. Does that make sense? Like, hey, you need a better business card. You need a better looking real estate sign. You need better online presence. You need better social media this. You need better, and like, I don't have a social media presence. I mean, if you went to Zillow and looked at all the reviews on me, you'd probably find 5, 6, or 7. You know, so out of my 1,400 clients, and I'm helping a realtor now, and she signed up with Zillow. She's like, "Oh, I got to get reviews." I'm like, "You don't, right? You don't need to get reviews. It's not that important." And at the 3-day event, we go over what's important, and what's important is really this: like, how to attract really good premium clients, how to convert them into great, clients, and then how to deliver such a VIP experience that they just refer more people to you. And uh, probably the biggest thing, and Jeff, maybe you could chime into this too, is like, you don't have to work with everybody, right? Like, just because you've been working in the $100,000 to $200,000 market doesn't mean you can't snap a finger and now go work in a higher bracket, just like Jeff did by working with a $2.3 million, listing. I mean, in a snap of a finger, it happened. And and then that lead you got off that postcard. I mean, I think if I remember you saying earlier today, it was like a 450.
Right.
And that's awesome. And then for Anna and Jonathan, I mean, this is what I love about you guys. You guys are like in a city in Texas where it's like, hey, a lot of houses are, I don't want to say, but I think like 80, 90, $100,000 homes. And it's just like, we're going to move to Austin, and within 3 days, you're in Austin, and now you're in a price bracket which is like 4, 5, 6, and up, 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 up. And then if I remember right, you guys are like, hey, if we don't crush it in Austin within like 90 days, we're just going to come to San Diego, where like everything is 800,000 and higher. And
Yeah.
it's like awesome. That is like, talk about being confident. And so is that, I don't want to say anything that's even like not remotely truth. Is that?
No, that's true. We were working with lower priced buyers, and it just, why not get homes moved to an area with higher priced homes and really rock it there, where we can start, working with people we want and getting the commission we want. And
Mm.
so
How far are you away from that now?
from, you mean home price wise, where we're living?
Yeah, like how far away were you living from Austin?
Oh, we're about an hour away. But
Okay.
when it comes to, it's a pretty trafficy area, if that's a word. So add a half hour on when driving. So yeah, we're right in the middle of the zip code that we want to be. And so, everywhere is just 5 minutes away, kind of thing.
And for you, if I remember right, it was like you guys are realtors only within the last year or two, and probably in the last year. But last year you guys did how many transactions?
We just started full time, earlier this year. Jonathan started last year, so about 6 transactions in, and I have a few starting earlier this year.
Yeah, so that's great. So it's like you're doing the transactions, and now it's just like, okay, just do the same thing at a different price point, and away you go. Yeah, it's and I guess the reason it's so exciting for me is that, like, I've been there and done it every way possible, right? So when I first did real estate, it was like, okay, I'm going to grind it out and work, 110 hours a week. No joke. 116 is what my kind of average was the first year. And then I was like, I just can't keep this up. This is like brutal, And then my second year I worked a lot less, And then my third year, I totally shifted. And I went to going to working maybe 50 hours a week. And that's when I went from like 14 million to 27 million in sales. And then I did the typical, like, okay, great, now I'll hire realtors and I'll hire admin people. And I did that. And I had up to 16 realtors, that I had hired and trained. And I had 6.5 admin people, 6 full-time, 1 part-time. And then I was like, this just isn't fun. This isn't like my personality. And my personality is I wanted to be the one doing the work, you know what I mean? And I wanted to be the one meeting with the buyers and meeting with the sellers. And so when I came to San Diego, and I actually sold that real estate company, and when I came to San Diego, I was like, okay, I'm going to build it a different way, a way that's just going to fit my personality. And, you can still have teams and this kind of stuff, but in my signature system, you don't need it. You can certainly have it if you want, but it's not. And I would say, Jeff, in your case, you're going to be able to do $300,000 of income without a single admin person.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's just. Someone was asking me today, like, well, when you send out your thank you cards, who writes them? I'm like, well, I write them. When you send out invitations to, like, when you're going to do a housewarming party, who sends them out? I'm like, well, I write it. Right? It's like, it doesn't take that long. But if I was working with 100 buyers and sellers at a time, it'd be a nightmare. But I probably only work with 2 to 3 to 4 people at a time. And last year I helped 23 families out. So there's just a lot of, to me, my signature system works because I give myself the time where I can truly build relationships with people. And I want to build relationships with people, 1, because that's just in my heart and my personality, but 2 is it's just good business. Does that make sense? It just makes sense. Like, why not have deeper relationships with 25 people than be acquaintances with 300 people? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the guarantees. It doesn't get much better than that. And my tech guy who runs all this stuff for me, he's like, and I think it's online or something, but it's like if people sign up, I forget what the time period is, but I think you got to sign up by tonight, if I'm not mistaken. It's instead of $998, it's $798, and you just have to put a code in. I think the code is, I'm gonna guess, I think it's called Get Results, GETRESULTS. Just type in Get Results, and it should take that from $998 to $798. But don't hold me to it, because I don't run the technology side of stuff. But I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. So, yeah. All right. So, gosh, can I give you guys a book to read that's really, really, really good? If you don't have it yet, you should buy it. And Jonathan and Allison, don't buy it, because I sent you a copy in the mail yesterday, or the day before, I forget which. But it's called Eat That Frog. It's by a guy I know named Brian Tracy. He's written a gobs of books, like 40 or 45 books. But this, to me, is his best one ever. And it's probably about 10 years old now. But it talks about, 21 days to stop procrastinating and get more done in less time, which for me, I love that type of stuff, because I, like everybody, can just procrastinate. And one of the things that we talk at the 3-day event is basically like, how to get rid of that mindset. And one of the easiest ways to do it is to eat that frog, which step number 1 is whatever task that you are like, man, I know I should be doing this thing, but I'm not, that's the thing you need to do. Does that make sense? And, excuse me, you want to do that as early in the day as possible. Because what happens is sometimes we think, I don't know what a task might be. Like, for me, it's calling my top 150, people that already know me, like me, trust me. Still to this day, I don't get excited to call 7 of my friends up, right? I can sometimes get a little nervous, or I just might want to do something different, like go for a hike, and then I'll say, okay, I'll do those calls later. And it's funny how later sometimes never comes. So it's like, just do that thing that you know you should be doing right away in the morning. And what that does, for me at least, is that helps me become more confident throughout the day. Because somewhere in my brain, it's like, hey, I overcame that thing, and if I can do that, well, then I can do this. And if I can do this, then I can do that. And it just sets a great, I don't know, roadmap, runway for me to kind of run on for that day or for that week. But yeah, if you don't have this book, except for Jonathan and Anna, don't buy it. But for the rest, if you don't have this book, go buy it and eat that frog, whatever that frog is, right? And some of us watching this, that frog might be like, oh man, I don't want to fly to San Diego and go to a 3-day event. Well, you probably should. You know what I mean? It's like eat that frog. And again, I got to use Jonathan and Anna as an example. I mean, oh my gosh, you guys came from Texas and you drove, and like when I heard you guys drove that 18 and 18 hours in a day, I was like, holy cow, are these people motivated or what? Right? So it's like that's eating that frog. Does that make sense? It's like just do it, no matter how it is. Just do it. And again, I don't know any real estate coach, trainer, mentor who says, hey, come to this 3-day event, and if by day 1 or day 2 or day 3 you don't see how you can make an additional $300,000 of income, like, here's your money back, right? There's people that might have like guarantee your money back, but I don't know anybody that puts like a dollar figure to it. And the reason I can do that is because, again, I'm a realtor. I know what happens when I implement the system, and I know what happens when a realtor in Texas implements it, Florida, Boston, New York, Idaho, New Mexico, Arizona, Oregon. Trying to think where other states are. And I got one realtor out of New Zealand, right? It does not matter where you're at or what your price point is. You'll be able to earn an additional $300,000 of income within 12 months. And if you don't see how that can happen, just let me know, and I refunded back what you paid. So awesome. Any other last minute questions or stuff I can help with? I got like 11 minutes, so I'll answer anything you guys want.
So I guess the key is you do higher transactions, and then you don't have to do as many. And then you don't need a transaction coordinator or other people to help, because you're not doing, I mean, because what happens to me is I just get really bogged down with all the stuff. And so it's a roller coaster, because you're doing a lot, and then you're busy getting all of that done, and then you're down here again, and then you're back up. And it's frustrating, and it's hard, and it isn't any fun.
Yeah. Oh, I know, and I've been there, done that. Debbie, and it's this roller coaster, and I remember this is probably like 12 years ago. I interacted with Brad Olson, great guy, and he had sold 900 homes when I met him, And he and I were friends in the same office for about 6 months. And he came into my office one day and he's like, "Hey, Jonathan, I'm going to quit real estate. Did you want to take over my client?" And I was like, "Well, first off, what are you talking about? And second off, no, I'm not going to take over your clients because they're yours. Like, what are you talking about? Why are you giving this up?" He's like, "Well, because I'm so frustrated. I'm so burnt out." And I said, "Well, hey, what are you doing?" And he told me for about 6 minutes of what he was doing. And I was like, "Hey, Brad, I can't take it anymore. Like, I would want to quit doing real estate too. Like, you're doing real estate the way that 95 to 97% of realtors do it, which is just like, why? You know what I mean? And instead, let's do it this other way, where it's just easy, lucrative, and fun." Because I told Brad, I'm like, what you've created is called a half business, which is very hard. It's very arduous. It's very, half business. Hard, arduous, it's kind of lame, and it's really frustrating for you and the client. So I said, we got to get rid of that. Now, sometimes, Debbie, I do use a transaction coordinator, but most of the time, I do it because it's not that. I'm just not doing that many of them.
Got it.
But could I have a transaction coordinator? Of course I could. Yep. I just choose not to.
I probably still would because I don't like doing that part.
Yeah. Oh, I don't like it either. Yeah, I don't like it either. But what I do love, I love the human interaction. So many times I will, like, instead of just sending the forms to somebody electronically to sign, I'm going to say, "Hey, let's go out to coffee or lunch, and I want to walk you through a whole bunch of forms." And to me, that's this deliver a VIP experience.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Where a traditional realtor is like, here's 72 forms, DocuSign them. And if I was Joe Crew consumer, I'd be like, I have no clue what these mean, you know. And,
They don't. They
Yeah.
don't. And I've had clients where I've never met them. I mean, they've bought and sold property. I've never met them.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just hard to build a business when you're not building relationships with people. Does that make sense? It's like what Walt Disney said when he started Disneyland. He said, "I'm going to build something that people are going to be happy to pay a lot of money for, and they're going to come back and back and back, and they're going to come from far away." Because the rides at Disney are the same rides at the local county fair. It's just a totally different experience. Does that make sense? And that's I think, what separates myself and other realtors that work with me from, let's say, traditional realtors, is just this mentality of like, let's just give people a phenomenal experience. And a phenomenal experience doesn't mean spending hundreds of hours with them. It means taking them out to lunch and going over the 72 points. You know, it's like just basic. And for that person who says, "Hey, just send me the forms, I just want to sign them," okay, I'll do that. But I'll also probably realize that the odds of them referring me a lot of business is probably not that high.
Right.
So, yeah. That would probably sum it up, Debbie, what you had mentioned. It's, well, okay, so the first half of the first day, we probably spend, we spend half of the day. So we spend half of the first day going over who is your ideal client. And not many realtors have ever sat down and go, who's my ideal client? And then what does that client possess in attributes? And then what do you got to possess as a realtor to get that ideal client? And then how many of those ideal clients do you need to work with in a year? Right? So I have one realtor. She works with 9 clients a year. Oh, thanks for muting Debbie. Debbie, someone muted you because there was a lot of feedback coming. So yeah, so there's one realtor that I work with. She works with 9 clients a year. She makes a very, very, very good living from just working with 9 people. And then there's someone else I work with that works with 40 clients in a year, right? But either way, it's just being really clear about like who you want to work with. Otherwise, as realtors, we're all over the board. We're helping a rental, we're helping a commercial building, we're helping a $90,000 condo, and it's like, wow, there's not many businesses in America that would operate that way, right? Most businesses in America are very clear. It's like the BMW dealership. They're not going to argue with people to buy a BMW. They're just going to say, yeah, it's an $82,000 car. If you'd like it, great. If not, then don't purchase it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that alone would be very helpful for you, Debbie. And I would say probably Jeff and Anna could probably attest to that. Just spending some time and really thinking about like, what am I doing, right? And who am I? Who do I really want to attract, and who do I want to repel? Has that helped you out, Jeff?
Oh my gosh, yeah, and that was one of the things too. You helped to kind of settle my mind was, wait a minute, if I don't help that $80,000 buyer or listing, that's that's a couple grand that I'm losing, and it's like, well, that's where opportunity costs. For every minute that I'm working with that $80,000 buyer or seller, that's time that I'm losing either gaining another $500 or $1 million prospect, whether it's a buyer or a seller. It's like, oh my gosh, and that's where you go back to that clarity. Where do I want my business to go, and how, I need to do that consistently in order to continue with what I'm trying to do.
Or spending time with Christine, or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, or my kids, of course.
Yeah, exactly. It's let's see. Someone had a question here, and they texted me. Tisk tisk on me for multitasking. But someone had a question. It was, let's see. Sorry, Jonathan, I don't have a mic or camera, but how hard would it be to implement your system while having a full-time job working 40 hours a week? Well, I don't think it would be that hard. I mean, I guess I don't know. I've personally never done it. I'm trying to think if I've ever helped a realtor who's had a full-time job. The only thing I can think of is I've helped out 2 college students, right? So they're not a full-time job, but gosh, last summer, like an 18-year-old made $36,000 within 65 days, and a 19-year-old, he did maybe $42,000 of income within the same type of time period. And they would be the first ones to say they were not working hard. They were going to the beach a lot and goofing off. So I'm guessing they probably put 15 to 20 hours of quote-unquote work into it. So yeah, if someone is driven, that's an important part of it. And I'd say someone who's wanting to do things a simpler way, just an easier way. And I tell people, you can dig a hole with a teaspoon, you can dig a hole with like a cup, you can dig a hole with a shovel, or you can dig a hole with one of those earth-moving equipment things. I'm the kind of person where I want to dig it with an earth-moving equipment thingy, And if the earth-moving equipment thingy is the same cost as using a teaspoon, that'd be like a no-brainer, right? And that's really what the signature system is all about. You can spend money on certain things, or you can make an additional $300,000 of income with probably $250 a month in expenses, right? So it's not like you don't have to be spending gobs and gobs and gobs of money. Although I would say it helps, right? To get certain internet leads and things like that, it doesn't hurt, but it's not a must. You can text me back if that's helpful, if that answered that question for you. Yeah. But I do know, like Jonathan and Anna, oh my gosh, you guys are cranking it with spending certain monies and whatnot. I know, like I say, I think I said it earlier, Jeff just sent out an EDDM postcard, call it $400. You sent it out to 600 people, and you got a great appointment tomorrow where the guy's probably going to list his house, and that's a $16,000 commission. So I'm really big on return on investment and return on time. Does that make sense? So I want to do things that are effective money-wise, but I want to do things that are effective time-wise as well. So yeah, both are like super, super important. All right, so it is a little past time. You guys got one more question, and I'll answer it. It could be on anything. It could be on the 3-day event, or it could be on what's the one thing I would never do again, or what's the one thing I would be doing every day. What's my favorite color? My favorite color is blue. So we answered that one.
What's the one thing you would never do again?
Gosh, the one thing I would never do again is probably work with a client and never do this. Like I probably worked with hundreds of clients that they didn't know that I really appreciated them and their business. You know, they didn't know that, like, I got this whole resource of people I can refer you to. Like, how can I help you, right? Can I help you teach your kids Spanish? Can I help you find a great gardener? Can I help you find a great air conditioning person, right? And then the last one is, oh my gosh, I went through real estate so many years not asking people for help, right? And so now I ask everybody. And oh my gosh, so I'm on a coaching call today, right? And Anna, not Anna Gaspar, but a different Anna, was in a parking lot on this call, and I've been working with Anna for like 3 weeks at most, right? And she has gotten so great at this thank you, offer, ask. A guy's car couldn't start. So he's like, hey, do you mind, can I jumpstart your car? Because she saw her car idling. And she's like, yeah, not a problem. She kind of pulls over, does whatever. She's still on this video call. And then when it's done, she's like, hey, by the way, can I ask you for some help? And I only want you to help me if you're comfortable. If you're not comfortable, just say so. Fair enough? And the rest of us on the call were like, wow, Anna's getting this. And she gave the gentleman her card and said, you know, man, if you ever come across anybody who's even remotely thinking about buying or selling a home, have them call me. I'd love to be of help to them. And she didn't get anything from that, but it's that mentality of like, to do that. So if there's one thing I would never not do again, would be just take people for granted, right? And now I'm very diligent about thanking them. I'm very diligent about, hey, can I help? How can I help you? Not even real estate related, just how can I help you? And then the third is just be really diligent about asking people for help. And when you do that, on here, I say when you do that 60 times a week, your life will change forever. Because that's really about working very focused, working smartly, and not working very hard. Or I guess I could call 100 expireds tonight. But I don't want to call 100 expireds tonight. You know, I don't want to call 100 for sale by owners. I don't want to call my friends and say, hey, I'm a realtor. Next time you buy a home, why don't you use me as your realtor, right? I'm going to call my friends, but I'm going to follow this method right here. And with this method, I am never asking them for business. I'm asking them, hey, who do you know who's thinking about buying or selling? So, awesome. Hey, thanks for your guys' time tonight. I trust this was helpful. And yeah, if you have not signed up for that 3-day event yet, I would say, what are you waiting for? Like, sign up. You know, the worst that can happen is we hang out for 3 days, you get 100% of your money back, and you walk away saying, gosh, I don't see how I can make an additional $300,000 of income by following the signature system. So in 10 seconds or less, Anna, what would you say to someone who's on the fence about coming to the 3-day event?
I would say that it's something that will definitely bring you a lot of confidence in your real estate career. If you're looking for a plan, something that works, it's 3 days. It's definitely something that's worth it.
Nice. How about you, Jeff?
Can you hear me? I just want to make sure if I'm muted or not.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, no, it just gave me confidence. I have to say it's the biggest thing. And it gave me a, I wouldn't say a 3-step system, but it gave me a system that gives me the steps to be able to say, okay, which direction do I want to go to get to the point where I do have, you know, profits in order to fuel my passions. I mean, not to sound kind of corny or anything, but that's, you know, really what happened.
Nice. That is awesome. That's life-changing. So,
Oh, yeah.
Yahoo! Virtual high five to everybody on the call. So, thanks for being here, guys. Have a great night. I'm sure we'll see each other live and in person soon. All right. Have a great night.
Thanks,
All right.
Rob.
Have a good night. Thanks, Jonathan.
Bye.